Thank you, Maria. I am so proud of the person and the leader that you've become. Thank you for those kind words. Barbara Jordan said, "I get from the soil and spirit of Texas the feeling that I, as an individual, can accomplish whatever I want to, that there are no limits, that you can just keep going, just keep soaring. I like that spirit." Barbara Jordan felt that spirit of Texas in her bones. That's the spirit that propelled her from the hells of Jim Crow to the halls of power. I feel that spirit tonight in this room. The feeling that we can accomplish whatever we want to, that we can just keep going, just keep soaring. I like that spirit too. I'm an 8th generation Texan. Our family has been here since it was Mexico. We may not have always been wealthy or well-educated, but we always served our state as soldiers and sailors, preachers and teachers. We trace our roots back to a farmer named Elijah Stapp, who came to Texas in 1826, exactly 200 years ago. Back then, Texas was ruled by a military dictatorship that was accumulating wealth and power for the people at the top. The people in Elijah's community decided to do something about it. So they elected James Kerr to go to a convention just like this one and help write the Texas Declaration of Independence. Kerr was a famous and successful leader. They eventually named Kerrville after him. But they needed a backup delegate. So they elected my ancestor, Elijah Stapp, to be the understudy. Now, by all accounts, Elijah wasn't the most successful farmer. You'll notice there isn't a Stappville, Texas. But when James Kerr was unable to attend the convention, it was unimpressive Elijah who was called upon to sign the Texas Declaration of Independence. He risked everything to defy a tyrant. His service came with a sacrifice. 4 months later, Santa Anna's army destroyed Elijah's home, leaving him, his wife, and their 6 children destitute. That day, Elijah sent a letter to his neighbors. He wrote, "Any duty that my bodily strength would enable me to perform either in public or private that would advance the cause of Texas, I feel anxious and ever ready to perform." Even in his darkest hour, Elijah was still committed to the cause of Texas. Texans don't like tyrants, and we don't surrender easily. I learned that same defiance from my mother, a 7th generation Texan from Laredo. She left home at 19 and moved up to Austin, where she met my birth father, a 21-year-old high school dropout whose drinking problem sometimes led to violence. One night, he became abusive again. But that night, my mom declared her own independence. She packed all our stuff into her little Ford Escort. She drove me to the hotel where she worked. She begged the manager to let us stay in one of the rooms until we found a little apartment in East Austin. There wasn't room for a nursery, so I slept in a crib in her closet. And she was so proud of that closet. She decorated it with toys and pictures. No one was going to tell her it wasn't a nursery. That's what it means to be a Texan. We are strivers and builders and dreamers of all colors and creeds, of all backgrounds and beliefs. It's in our blood. Texans don't like tyrants, and we don't surrender easily. Growing up, my mom told me every day how lucky I am to live in this state. She always said, why would you want to live anywhere else? Texas has everything: beaches and mountains, plains and piney woods, big cities and small towns. She taught me that Texas is beautiful, Texas is bold, and most importantly, Texas is big. Big hair, big hearts, and big dreams. Our athletes are beloved across the globe: Cowboys, Astros, Spurs. Our musicians are so iconic, they only need one name: Willie, Selena, Beyonce. Hell, we got the biggest donuts in the world in my hometown of Round Rock, Texas. But the current political landscape is too small for Texas. The politics of this state is narrow-minded and short-sighted. Texas used to be known for our hospitality. Our nickname is the Friendly State. Friendship is our official state motto. The word Texas comes from the Caddo Native American word for friend. What's interesting is that they didn't use that word to describe a friend in their own tribe. They used that word to describe a friend in a different tribe. Friendship across tribes. Friendship across divides. That's what makes Texas so great. We're this big mashup of all these different people, all these different cultures, all these different friends. Think about Tejano music. If you're listening to a Selena song, you're hearing Spanish vocal styles from northern Mexico, but you're also hearing polka dance rhythms from Czech and German immigrants. This uniquely Texan ability to welcome new friends and new ideas has made us one of the most exciting and innovative states in the country. We're the state that put a man on the moon. We're the state that pioneered ranching and energy and computers. We're the state that gave this country Barbara Jordan, Ann Richards, LBJ, and the Great Society. We're the state that put breakfast in a taco. But today we face a new threat. Our state is being taken over by a new kind of tyrant: billionaire megadonors. They're not invading with an army, they're just buying the system. The billionaires who own the social media algorithms, who own the cable news networks, who own the politicians fighting on our screens, they are turning neighbor against neighbor, weakening that spirit of friendship that makes Texas so great. They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion, so we don't notice that they're picking our pockets. It is the oldest strategy in the world: divide and conquer. But Texas will not be conquered. At a time when these billionaires are dividing us into different tribes, we need to remember the meaning of our name: friendship across tribes, friendship across divides. In 1960, John Steinbeck took a road trip across America. He wrote about the virtues and the quirks of each state he visited. And when he got here, he wrote that Texas is not just a state, it's a state of mind. That Texas state of mind resists any tyranny, whether it comes from dictators 200 years ago or billionaire megadonors today. That's why these new tyrants had to look out of state to find puppet politicians who are willing to do their bidding. That's why they picked Ken Paxton. the most corrupt politician in America. Ken Paxton was born in North Dakota, raised in California, and has a place in Hawaii. Listen, I believe anyone can be a Texan. It doesn't matter if you're an eighth-generation Texan like me or a California transplant like Ken Paxton. What makes a Texan is not in the boots or in the truck. It's deep in the heart. These billionaires and their puppets have the wrong state of mind. Their hearts and their dreams are just not big enough. We let these small men get their hands on our big state. You know the kind of people I'm talking about. The kind who make themselves feel big by making everyone else feel small. These men, they took all the money and power they could grab, and they set out to shrink Texas down to their size. They're shrinking our Texas economy with job-killing tariffs. They are shrinking our Texas public schools with private school voucher scams. They're shrinking our health care so it covers less and less. They're shrinking our paychecks and how much those paychecks can buy. And they're shrinking our power by attacking our God-given rights at the ballot box and redrawing our districts to keep themselves in power. They have been shrinking Texas for 3 decades now. But that ends this year, in this election. In November, we can make Texas big again. We can make Texas friendly again. We can make Texas Texas again. We have the chance to take back our state from those billionaire mega donors and their puppet politicians who stole it from us. Lyle Lovett had a song called "That's Right, You're Not From Texas." Come to think of it, he might have written it for Ken Paxton. There's a line in that song that I love. It goes, "At a dance hall down in Texas, that's the finest place to be. The women, they all look beautiful, and their men will buy your beer for free." Every Texas bar has those regulars, the ones who pick up a round, the ones who check on the guy who's drinking alone, the ones who share a laugh or a story or their fried pickles. And every bar also has that one guy. He's loud, he's obnoxious, he makes all the women in the bar feel uncomfortable. He hears you say your name to the bartender and then adds his drink to your tab when you're not looking. That's Ken Paxton. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm done picking up his tab. This isn't a partisan thing. Republicans know just as well as Democrats that there's no place for guys like Ken Paxton in Texas. That's why these two parties that don't seem to agree on anything these days came together to impeach the most corrupt politician in America. And it's why we will come together once again to defeat him in November. The first president of the Texas Republic gave us one piece of advice: do right and risk the consequences. As our state seceded from the Union on the eve of the Civil War, the Texas legislature removed Sam Houston from office because he refused to swear an oath of loyalty to the Confederacy. Upon his removal, he rested under Austin's legendary treaty oak, a 500-year-old live oak, and a sacred meeting place for Comanche and Tonkawa peace parties. As he rested, Sam Houston wrote the words of a speech he would never deliver. He said, "In the name of my own conscience and manhood, which this convention would degrade by dragging me before it, I deny the power of this convention to speak for Texas." Sam Houston is a Texas hero because he did right and suffered the consequences. What would Sam Houston think about the small men who are shrinking Texas? What would Sam Houston, who put Texas before himself, say about Ken Paxton, who puts himself before Texas? What would Sam Houston say to all of us at this critical moment in Texas history? I think he would say, do right and risk the consequences. There's an old country song by Gary P. Nunn called "What I Like About Texas." In the song, he lists the rivers and the bluebonnets, the music and the food. But ultimately, he settles on one answer. He says, it's the spirit of the people who share this land. The spirit of Barbara Jordan. The spirit of my mom. The spirit that's in this room. The feeling that we can accomplish whatever we want to. That we can just keep going, just keep soaring. This election shouldn't be about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. It should be about chasing a vision of what our state can be. Texas schools that are the envy of the nation. A Texas economy that is second to none. And Texas families that are stronger and healthier than ever before. It won't happen overnight, but a giant state deserves giant dreams. We are bigger than extremism. We're bigger than partisanship. We're bigger than corruption. Texas is bigger than all of those things because it's not just a state. It's a state of mind. It's a spirit. It's a cause. Texans don't like tyrants, and we don't surrender easily. Tonight, standing before you to accept your nomination for the United States Senate, I make the same commitment to you that my ancestor made 200 years ago. Any duty that my bodily strength would enable me to perform, either in public or private, that would advance the cause of Texas, I feel anxious and ever ready to perform. Thank you, Texas Democrats. Thank you for your friendship.